I remember the first real relationship I ever had. I was a young, ripe, fresh Alden at like 14 years old. This girl was a extremely intelligent brunette girl who was a transfer student from another school that I guess for some reason like flooded. I don't know what happened, but the entire school got filled with water. And so anyways, a group of students transferred to our school. She happened to be one of them. We shared this chemistry class together, which is funny because we definitely had chemistry, you know? We sat across from each other, and every day, like somehow during the lecture, our eyes would always just meet at those exact times. It was always just, there was this magnetic aura that was always just drawing us to each other. Eventually, this seating chart that we had in the class changed to where now we were seated next to each other, and this was a dream come true for a young, fresh, ripe Alden White. We started to develop this like weird thing where every Wednesday, her and I would take turns like baking each other certain like pastries or like goods. So like one week I would bake cookies, she would bake brownies, and then, you know, it goes on. And yeah, that was like kind of our thing. It was real wholesome. It was cute. It was real cute. So eventually we would start texting each other every day after school. Also at this time, people in our grade were starting to get their licenses. In America, you can get your license at 16. So she had gotten her first car, and I had gotten my license, and so I was able to take like my mom's car and go and visit her on the weekends, and we would hang out during lunch, yada yada yada. And yeah, this would eventually just evolve into just a full-fledged, hot, steamy episode of what's that show? What's that show that like everybody's watching right now? Oh my god, Euphoria.
At some point, you make a choice about who you are and what you want.
Euphoria, that's it. Crazy infatuation, bad decisions, just that out of control type of love where we all know someone that just, they got in a relationship and they fell off the deep end. Well, I was 100% that guy. This went on for a few years, and at the end of the 3-year mark, she breaks up with me for one of my best friends. So, and I obviously was devastated, but everything considered, I actually did deserve this breakup. I was 100% a piece of shit, treated her extremely poorly, and, you know, no one, because, like, here's the thing, is, like, when you're 15, 16 years old, like, dude, you're not thinking about, like, courtship, you're not thinking about how to raise kids, you're not thinking about family matters, you know, all you're thinking about is just, and by nature, she was a little bit passive and always had this forgiving nature, and so because of that, I was able to get away with a lot of things in the relationship that really would not fly if she had been more, I think, healthy, really both of us healthy. And I think at one time, like, I genuinely was enamored with like the person that she was, but I was selfish and I genuinely made everything about me. I was an amusement park of red flags. And anyways, so when she broke up with me, like, I was heartbroken for months. Like, yeah, I was a piece of shit, but the pain was still very real, and I had to redefine like a new normal for me because my identity was just wrapped up in her completely. And one of the aspects of being heartbroken that I think is actually really good is that it leaves you in a place of emotional fragility and vulnerability. And that's good because it reverses the desensitization that you've gone through. A broken heart is one that is an open heart. And I remember during this time I would receive notes from my friends just encouraging me, like, hey, you're gonna make it, you're gonna be fine. I started going to this like spiritual community as well, and I made new friends there. And I was fully engaged with everything, you know, that people were saying to me at this time. Like, this was the genesis of my understanding of the raw power of words, of spoken words. And I got into this habit of basically writing down every single like word of encouragement that someone would give me, whether it was verbal or no. Like I would literally just keep this journal, and I would write down like, today Landon told me this, Jake told me this, or Jessica told me this, you know, whatever. And whenever I would have like those just feelings of despair, like, fuck, am I really gonna make it? And of course I'm gonna make it, but when you're that young and when you're blinded by love, like, dude, it takes time for those emotions to catch up with those truths. And so you have to give yourself a little bit of space to undergo that process, that transitional period of your healing. And whatever you place your attention on grows. And so it's like, I knew the monster that I had been and I was. And at this point, I either give into this just full-fledged sadness and depression and feeling sorry for myself, or do I evolve and grow out of it and become a better man because of this experience? And what I realized is that desperation is really just an attachment to what you perceive you don't have, because the truth is that who you are is never diminished by loss. And a lot of people don't see this. They're still stuck in these unconscious thought patterns. You know, it's like, they don't have the capacity to give love and encouragement to others because they haven't given it to themselves. So that's naturally just going to prevent you from being able to utilize your gifts to the utmost expression, to the fullest degree. And they know that they have potential, but that inner dialogue of criticism or failure is preventing them from turning like that potential into kinetic energy, you know, energy that is actionable. And just tying everything that I've said so far into focus, it's like, this is why I always talk about having good friends, man, because like, are there people in your life that are calling you up and out and into your destiny, or are they just letting you die? Do people in your life challenge you? Do you give that back to them? Are you someone that they can trust with their innermost secrets and those things that we hide, that we don't want anybody to see and that we don't want anybody to know about? Can you step into those places and can you see good in people or your friends? Can you pull that out and point them back on track to what they feel called to? And when I think back to those times that I've wanted to quit the most of this whole self-improvement thing of making something of myself and making something of my life, you know, I think about the people that chose to take a risk on me, to walk up to me and introduce themselves and say something over me, because it's like the person I used to be and the person I am now are drastically different. And that I attribute to the boldness of people that stepped into my life and were able to pull the little bit of good that I had and magnify that. I remember one example in particular, one of my absolute best friends to this day. When I was 18 years old, I had walked into this, there was like some live music playing. It was like part of this church, and there wasn't like an actual service going on, but I was just kind of in the pews, like just sitting there by myself. There was like literally 5 people in this whole building, and I was just thinking, like, I was just trying to figure out, like, what am I gonna do with my life? And this guy comes over to me. I mean, his face was glowing, and he gave me this note, and he wrote down these words on it that registered with what I was going through so much that he gave me, and I started reading it, and I just immediately started crying because it was so powerful. And this guy had a very prophetic nature to him. Like, he could just see things on people. He would get words that still to this day baffle me because of the accuracy of, like, I've never even met this person in my life. Like, how did he know these things? You know, how did he know specific details about my personal life? Like, but the point is this: people need what you have to say, and if you see something good, say it now before it's too late and you miss that opportunity. If you love someone, tell them. If you care about someone, if you see something good, like, verbalize that, tell them. So just to wrap up, get over yourself, and go save your friends. And yeah, that's all I got. Love y'all, and see you guys in the next video.